right, a Fox News alert. Look at the number, screen left. More than 1 million migrants have tried to illegally enter the United States since October 1st. That's what we know of. Forget about the gotaways. It's a new record, but President Biden insists, don't blame me.
That the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends.
Okay, well, Fox News contributor Tulsi Gabbard is here to react. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Is that going to hold water?
I don't think it will. You know, the American people have been paying very much close attention to what's going on. Right. They know that the Biden-Harris administration and Mayorkas and all of them have been lying to them for years now, saying the border is secure, right. The border is secure. Now, all of a sudden, it's an election year. They have flip-flopped and are saying, oh, my gosh, we needed to secure the border. Right. The problem is, Steve, that the bill that they're supporting and that they're trying to get through Congress does not secure the border. It actually cements their open border policy into law and is directly counterproductive to ensuring our national security and closing the border.
What did you make of the twin Republican losses last night in the House, your former chamber, where, you know, they knew going in they had 3 no's. Yeah. And it seems like they didn't have a good count. I was talking to somebody close to the top who said, I asked, do you have the votes? And they go, we're about to find out. That's not how you do it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Frankly, I'm disappointed that there were not any Democrats, again, who have been talking about this crisis at the border and how action needs to be taken, but none of them had the courage to stand up against their own administration, to stand up for the people and stand up for securing our border.
You have stood up for the people of Hawaii for as long as we've known you. And the Maui police have just come out with an after-action report, essentially, that talked a lot about what happened with those Lahaina fires. And one of the quotes from the police is, they encountered significant challenges due to heavy smoke, decreased visibility, and heavy traffic, which caused a gridlock. You know, it's as if they had not planned for the end of the world kind of fire, and that was it.
Yeah, you know, it's important that they did this, that there are a lot of very important lessons to be learned so that this kind of crisis, there is always another crisis that will occur, so that they are better prepared to protect the lives of the people that they are sworn to protect. Yeah. The critical thing now that they've done this is for policymakers to take it and actually fund and implement those changes. The concern here is that, for example, the Maui Fire Department, they were grossly under-equipped and undermanned, not only because previous assessments said, hey, they need more money, they need better equipment, They need more people, but they didn't actually fund them. During the COVID period, they were actually firing firefighters who refused to get the COVID vaccine, and they didn't actually remedy that situation, which contributed, unfortunately, to the crisis in that response. So they've got to actually take action to fix this.
Well, and I know Maui is taking action to try to get the tourists back, because yes. I've seen all the airlines are saying, hey, come back. There are places that you can have a nice vacation.
There are many places on Maui, and I will add my voice to those who are thinking about going. Go and visit Maui. There's a lot of local people whose small businesses are dependent upon that tourism-based economy. They need help and support right now, and Hawaii is such a beautiful place. Go. It's cold outside. You should go to Hawaii.
I love Hawaii. I would love to go. In the meantime, 1 hour ago, in that chair, Stephen Moore, an economist during the Trump years, I know he had you speak to his group last night, and he had this to say about you. Were your ears burning? Listen to this.
By the way, I know you have Tulsi Gabbard coming on. We did a dinner with Tulsi last night with 40 major influencers, and we asked at the end of the dinner, who do you want Donald Trump to pick as his vice presidential nominee? You know who won? Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay, so if he asks, I would imagine you might be interested?
I'd be open to that conversation. My mission in life is to serve our country and serve the American people and find the best way to be able to do that.
All right. Tulsi, thank you very much for joining us.
Great to see you.
All right. I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.